fruit in the wintertime, you got to eat it quick. It doesn't last well. I got to finish those grapes tomorrow, and I got to eat those two things of cantaloupe in 2 days. Eat the one first and the other one second. One side of the cantaloupe was in better shape than the other. When you're watching TV, okay, the Monday night football people, the entertainers need the athletes, and the athletes need the entertainers to get people involved, invested, and buy their products and keep them rich and famous, okay? They're like the gladiators and the knights and the warriors of old that made a great life and living and lived in the castle with shining knight and shining armor to protect us all from the bullies that would come and take away from us and take our farm food and all that we worked for, our big knights in shining armor, right? That made a good living off of staying real hot and sexy and protecting us from all the golems and not the golems, the grindles of the world, right? So there's always these great, the legend of the indigenous people, you're known by the quality of your enemies, Jeremiah Johnson and all that. All these people send out to kill him, and 5 guys go out to kill him, and they all come back dead, and then the next guy that sees him, oh, wow, whoa, okay. You made a good, that's one of our enemies. And he's count coup on you, like what happened to me on the Colville Indian Reservation. When else did it happen? I can't remember. It was Randy and those 4 guys. It happened another time, too. Indigenous people have counted coup on me. Because I was brave, is what me and Jim and the guys told me. And same Randy Reed told me the same thing. I looked at Booney and says, you got balls. You don't have to. I told him, no, I'm not going to. My dad doesn't drink. I don't drink. I don't have to drink your stuff. Well, I'm going to kick your ass, and you're just going to have to kick my ass. I'm not going to drink your alcohol. And he patted me on the shoulder and goes, you don't have to. And Booney looked at me like, motherfucker, because he was laughing, going, you have to drink tonight. Randy's coming over. And if you don't drink with him, he'll kick your ass. So he's just going to have to kick my ass. My dad doesn't allow me to drink alcohol, and I don't want to drink it, so I'm not going to. And then when he came over, I said, no, my dad doesn't drink. I don't drink. And Randy looked at me, patted me on the shoulder, and told Booney, looked at Booney and goes, you don't have to. You don't have to. Good, you're a man, you don't have to. And then later that night, they got the things where they went out, and Booney and all those guys were out there getting Mean Jim, and all. It was probably Booney's idea. Well, if I couldn't get Randy to kick his ass, I'll get Mean Jim and these guys from the thing to do it. They all came running through the apartment laughing, went out the back door. And Mean Jim and the guys pulled up in the car right in the front thing, come running up into the apartment. And I told Chuck, man, they're going to come trash the place. And you told this lady you're going to watch it. We can't let them do that. And Chuck goes, yeah. And I go out walking, and they're all out of the car, and I come walking right up to the front, to the driver's thing to talk. I told them, we're watching this place for a woman. My friend doesn't usually have a place to stay. He's got a place to stay, but he has to watch this lady's apartment. We usually have to, feed him through the door, sneak him in the house to give him a place to stay like they do on Hyde. Stuff. So I was like, we promised to watch this place for this lady. I can't let you tear it up. And, and they all stood around me, and they were pissed. Me and Jim don't like being made fun of. I'm like, God damn it, Tim Conway. Try not to laugh. I'm biting my lip. But they all laid hands on me at the same time. Me and Jim took his hand out. I had it right there by the car door, and he took his hand out and he grabbed me with his hand, and he had on, the basketball. Remember the wristbands? He had on wristbands and a cut-off shirt. It was green. I remember. I'll never forget. And he had on a head tie thing, long hair, and he was red-eyed and he was pissed. And the other guys were all out and had long hair and had their stuff, and their tough guy-looking clothes and stuff too. And Chuck goes, I thought you were dead. And I thought I was dead too. And I stood there and I was like, fuck, they're going to kill me. And I stood there, and they all just he reached out and grabbed me by the wrist. And the rest of them all put their hands on me. And the one kid that was talking, that kept telling me, Min Jim doesn't like being made fun of. It pisses him off. He wants to kick their ass. I said, I'm sorry. I'll tell you who they are. I know them at school. They're friends of mine, but what they did was wrong, and I'll tell them, And Mean Jim doesn't like that. You do that again, you guys will kick their ass. I'll kick their ass. I was pissed, I was mad. And they all just sat there and they all put hands on me. And the one guy goes, we respect you, Me and Jim never talked. Me and Jim respects you. You're brave. And they all got back in the car, and drove off calmly. And I stood there, went back to the door, and Chuck was looking at me through the window in the door going, and I said, what was up with that? He goes, I look like a man. Everybody always treats me like a man when I'm out on the streets because I have a mustache and I'm 6'2", 215 pounds. And I thought if I went out there that they would get aggressive and just start jumping me and beating me. I thought you might have a chance if you went out with your little skinny self yourself to try to talk them out of it. And you did. And you did it. You did it. You saved our asses. And I was like, I wasn't mad at Chuck at all because I understood it. Chuck was a 13, 14-year-old kid that looked like he was 19 or 20. And his parents, his dad left and broke up with his mom. His mom would go live out in the boonies with a bunch of old hippie guys that were back to nature, hippie survivalist guys. And Chuck wanted to go to school and play basketball and football and date girls. And they would try to get him out there in the wilderness and just become a nature child. And Chuck wanted to stay here with the kids and have a good time and be a typical American kid like the rest of us. So we used to all sneak him into our houses. He always wanted to sleep on the top bunk of my bunk, and it was one of those bunks with the wire mesh things that would sag down like a hammock. And he was 250 pounds. Like, there ain't no way. You get the bottom bunk, I get the top bunk. I'm not having you sleeping all night with your ass in my face, because that's what would happen when you get on the top. I was like, God damn, Chuck, no. I weigh 120 pounds. You weigh 215. You get the bottom bunk, I get the top. That's funny. And then he would always bitch, because Pancha, man, she spent forever in the bathroom. He's like, I want to go in there. I know you want to get a shower. First of all, if she takes a long time, the better chance we have of the hot water, replenishing the hot water and getting a fast 5-minute hot shower. Secondly, we'd sit there, and it was funny, and we'd sit there and wait for Pancha to wait, and then her boyfriend would come with the car and pick her up, and she'd be doing her makeup till last minute. And then we'd have to sit there, and I'd check, okay, come across. And grab a couple bananas and apples and run off down the hill and start running to school. And walk down, and we'd always be running late because she was, God dang it, Pancha. There were 2 bathrooms. Val had the one downstairs, Pancha had the one upstairs. And the rest of us waited for them to get done. And they had 2 hours to get ready for school. You had 15, 20-minute stops. And that's what it was like. You got Patrice. It was easier. The girls, I'm sure Patrice could go in there with Val and take a shower if she wanted to, but she was a little kid. You could probably take a bath the night before, get up, brush your teeth, brush your hair, go. Because it was 19. Patrice was born in 1970. Patrice was 10. Okay, so yeah, I was 13, 14. I was born in 66, so it was 1980, 79, 80, whatever, to 82 or whatever, we lived in Colville. And yeah, it was a trip. But yeah, old Chuck Valley. I loved him. I wasn't mad at him at all. I understood him completely. When you sat there looking at this kid who had long hair and a mustache and had to walk the streets of town to find a place to stay and got harassed by the deputy's department and then walked by any place down the streets of the taverns and stuff and got treated like he was a grown man and abused, and you're out there and you got no place to stay, and sometimes you had to sleep outside, and you're 13 years old and you look like a grown man and they treat you like a grown man and you're scared. He used to cry. I could see the tears in his eyes. He wouldn't cry in front of me, but I could see it and I could feel it. And you look at this big, huge kid that's 6'2", 215 pounds and a full, dark, grown-in mustache, and he's 13 years old. And he has to live in the streets because his dad went back to California, and his mom keeps going from guy to guy. And one time when she disrespected his mom, she threw it like an iron at his head. Bam! Because I didn't say anything. Why didn't you say something? It's like, you don't talk to your mom that way, man. No. No, you got it coming. I mean, I know you're pissed at her, but say it under your breath and leave. But don't disrespect your mom like that. She's gonna get you, So don't do that. I learned that from my dad. You don't disrespect your mama. No. And so he's like, okay. And it's like, you can be mad at her, you can leave, and if she doesn't worry about you when you're gone somewhere else, she's still your mom. You don't disrespect her. Just because she's being selfish and disrespecting you doesn't mean you do it back, dude. I got that from my pops. Okay? So I'll be back, y'all. All right, peace.